What's going on, wrestling fans? It is I, Steve Fall, and welcome to the show. On today's edition, I am talking to the New Japan World TV Champion. It's Jeff Cobb. How you doing today?
I am doing great. Thanks for scheduling this interview so early in the morning for me, but it's all good. Time differences are weird, and let's get it done.
Well, you are in Japan right now, and so, right now it's 8 o'clock for me, 9 o'clock in the morning for you, but you are in Japan, and we were talking about social media and the internet a little while ago off camera, and you lit the world on fire, though, recently with a tweet kind of calling out people who are getting championship opportunities before yourself, and you're talking about AEW's Forbidden Door and wondering why maybe you're not on the card. Tell me what drove you to send that tweet out, because some people just ignore Twitter, but you went bullet chamber and you shot it.
Yeah. So funny story about that. I don't live on the internet.
Smart.
It's so crazy to think that there's a life outside the internet. Um, I did that, and then I do read some of the tweets sometimes because it's funny to see how people get bent out of shape over something somebody says. And I don't care about your opinion, because at the end of the day, your opinion, not you specifically, the internet, people, their community does not give me my paycheck every month. So with that being said, I personally do not like certain things because in a collaboration, in a partnership, it's supposed to be 50-50. I personally feel that we hold up our end of the bargain. On the other side, not so much. So based off of that, it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? If anybody from that, like, for example, like, John Moxley called his shot and said he wanted a title match. He got it, and he won. And in his defense, he did beat Naito for the belt. So good for him, But then on that same point, you have somebody coming out, like, for example, Will Hobbs saying, "Hey, I want a title match," and for some odd reason, he gets a title match. He's never been to Japan, never wrestled on a New Japan show, and he's getting a New Japan IWGP World Heavyweight Champion title shot, which is ridiculous. So for me, not liking that situation, I just went ahead and said, you know what? I won't even let anybody challenge me. I will do the challenging. And if anybody wants a shot, come forward. And nobody's come forward. Uh, funny story. I don't know if they have to get permission from their daddy over there. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love a fight. I don't mind a fight. If I lose a fight, that's totally fine, because I will dust up and come back and fight you again. So I'm all for it. My open challenge is there. Forbidden Door season is just around the corner. I believe like 10 days away or so, like maybe 12, right? Depending on when this comes out.
Yeah.
And nobody stepped up to challenge, but and it's just a crazy concept that we have Forbidden Door, a crossover show, and nobody wants to step up to fight me.
Well, people want you and your open challenge to be part of the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, where you walk out. Obviously, you say, "Let's go. Who wants it?" And I've seen some suggestions, and Samoa Joe seems to be one of the suggestions that people want to see you two go at it. So, is there like a discussion that you are going to be at Forbidden Door, or you put up the challenge and as you put up, the daddy hasn't gotten back to you about the situation?
Yeah, I mean, as of now, nobody, like I said, like I mentioned, nobody stepped up. So as of right now, I plan on just going to the beach and hanging out and working on my tan. Like I have to work on my tan. I don't, but um, you can never be too tan in this business. But yeah, as of right now, I am not scheduled to be there. Nobody's reached out. Nobody's like I said, like my DMs are open. My my Twitter's open, my Instagram's open, Facebook, NewJapan1972.com. Send them a message. They can get it to me. You can send a nice little card if you want, or a fax. Japan still uses fax machines, so fax it over and I'll get it. I'll get it eventually. So, but I'd like to say, as of now, uh, I am not scheduled to be there. And like I said, I'm not mad about it. I'm not sad about it. I'm not going to cry on the internet saying, "Oh, please book me." No, if I'm not booked, Oh well, then I'm gonna go hang out on the beach, like I said in a tweet. Go to a beach, have a barbecue. Jim Ross, if you're not doing anything, come on board. Bring or send me some more really good barbecue sauce, and I'll put that on my stuff, man.
Man, I would love to see maybe Jim Ross and you can hang out. He needs a tan, probably. He might need some advice.
I'll work with him on that.
Yeah, okay. He's helping you with barbecue sauce. You need to help
Yeah,
him, as you brought up a 50-50 relationship. Well,
yeah. Well,
help out
he
Jim
needs.
Ross.
Everybody needs some vitamin D in their life. So come on, Jim, come on, and bring a
Uh,
case of that barbecue sauce with you.
it's delicious. I'll be honest. I have ordered some before, and I was like, damn, like this guy, he's probably in the lab with his lab coat on and the beakers and putting it all together because it's good.
It is tasty.
It is good stuff. So, with New Japan and your involvement, let's bring up the fact that New Japan is something that people have always loved. It's always been in my brain. WWE, New Japan, like those two existed as long as I can remember. And so, with relationships like AEW with New Japan, about a year ago, maybe even more than that, a rumor came out that Nick Khan in the WWE wanted to work with New Japan. So, in reality, do you think there ever was a reality that the relationship between AEW and New Japan wasn't going to continue and the WWE suddenly was going to come in there as being like the new partner?
Uh, I mean, if you look at it from a business standpoint, like why would you not want to partner up with the number one company in another market, being Japan? And like if WWE came over, because like if you look at like WWE's roster, like a majority of their guys did compete for New Japan.
Yep.
Hell, some of them were IWGP World Heavyweight Champions.
Yep.
A lot of their roster also held not just that title, but multiple other titles within our company. So, and then a lot of the guys that are over there now who are successful have had runs and tours here in New Japan. So, I mean, it's just a natural progression. Like, why wouldn't we want to, partner up with some of our top guys previously wrestled before they came to WWE? And if they did, then that's great. But if you're gonna send somebody over, don't send your JV team. Send over some varsity players, and let's see if they can still hang with us.
Because I agree with that. Because right now, a couple days ago, the story came out AJ Styles is going to go to Noah and compete in a matchup there. That we've had TNA involvement with WWE. We have many organizations now working with the WWE. For years, it felt like they didn't want to touch anybody else, but
Mm.
now it's becoming this global phenomenon where everyone's working together, even AEW with other people too. So, are you surprised to see that AJ Styles is showing up in Noah? Because obviously, you brought it up, he was in Japan.
No, 'cause I mean, I believe AJ Styles wrestled in maybe Wrestle One or something before his New Japan stint or something. I think he had a couple
Yeah,
shots
he's
in
had
Japan
stints
prior.
everywhere, but like he
Yeah,
had a
so I
big,
mean,
huge
like
run.
I'm not surprised that he's coming up, I mean, especially for a legend like Marufuji. Like I mean, you say what you want, whether he's from another company. I'm not supposed to like mention him or no. Like Marufuji's a legend, and I've been on um, a few indie shows with him in America, and he's a great wrestler. He's a great guy, and for him to have a match with AJ Styles, like I'm say what you will, whatever company I work for, I'm gonna try to watch that. Just for the fact that AJ Styles is amazing, and so is Marufuji. So I definitely want to see that, and it's a good match to to be a fan of, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, again, it's just interesting to see that like this island of the WWE is reaching out and branching out, and even Nakamura and the Great Muta had a match. I think it was like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. So like, it's just so weird to me as a watcher of wrestling for over 30 years to see one company who never ever seemed to ever want to be involve themselves with something is now branching out. But coming up though is the G1 Climax, and it's it is the summertime thing that everyone gets pumped about. It's coming up. You're in Block B. It starts July 20th. So do you feel I've seen this a lot now with a lot of companies that they see the G1 and they're like, how do we duplicate this? How do we make our own? And I don't think it can be. Like, what's your feelings on the G1 Climax? Because it feels like it's such a unique concept involving brackets and points and systems. Like, everyone is trying to do this. Like, how do you feel about the G1?
Well, I've said this before uh, interviews and or just in passing with friends and whatnot, like the G1 is the tournament of tournaments. It is the old saying, it's often imitated, never duplicated, and that's a fact. The G1 Climax is definitely the hardest tournament, if you will. What do you want to call it? And for the longest time, it was like the best of the best. The top 20 that could come over will be in that. And I've been fortunate to be in the past four of them. This will be my fifth, I believe. So I'm really excited for it. And and now that the fact that they're going back to the traditional format of 2 blocks of 10, and now they're even raising the stakes where you had guys like Tanahashi, who was I don't know. I think he won it 2 or 3 times, and he has to qualify to get in this tournament. Like you have guys like Ishii, who's one of the best wrestlers in the world, has to qualify to get into it. And then you got like some upstarts, like for example, from our group, Callum Newman, also TJP. Has to qualify to get into this tournament. It just raises the stakes even more. And it's not just like, okay, well, you're going to be in the tournament. You're going to be in the tournament. No, no. Like we have guys that, for example, like myself, who's a champion, who's in this tournament. Singles champions who are, I don't know if they get an automatic bid or whatnot. I don't know the selection process, but then you have guys who are main eventers who have to qualify to get in this tournament. And it's crazy to think that's like the fact that Tanahashi might not be in the tournament this year. Which is good because now that you think about it, like, El Presidente didn't just put himself in the tournament. He's making himself fight his way into the tournament. Fair. You know what? I give him props for that.
I would hope. It's a smart PR answer. Yeah. No, yeah, but it's just so crazy because I remember watching the G1 and like you'd watch the matches and they just weren't normal matches or contests. They were hard hitting, beat the shit out of each other matches. And then you're like thinking, oh, how is the person going to continue on? Oh my God, they got to have like 3 more matches. This is insanity. So if no one's ever seen the G1, you got to check it out because it's unbelievable. It's one of the best things going. And coming up this summer too is the Olympics. And you, sir, 2004, involved with the Olympics. Take me through that experience because not everyone gets to be in the Olympics. So what was your idea heading into it and what was the expectations once you got there?
I mean, expectations are they're the best athletes in the world for that year for 2000 or well for myself it was 2004. So the best athletes in the world in 2004. So my mindset was like, all right, that's going to be cool. I did not. It blew my expectations out of the water. Seeing just the size differences for the best athletes in the world. Because I remember seeing like 4 foot, like under 5 foot tall gymnasts that had 2% body fat who are just ripped to shreds, and then you see like a 300-pound Olympic weightlifter on that side, and then you see like a 7'6" Yao Ming or the USA basketball team, and you're just like the variances in sizes for the best athletes in the world was just ridiculous. And then you had like like a 5'10", 184 guy wrestler. I was like just seeing all these people. It a crazy collection of human peakness, if you will.
Yeah, well, because I feel like each one of you heading into any Olympic Games, that's your whole life has been building to this moment. 8 years, 12 years have gone by, and all you've been doing is this to get here. And once you get here, obviously after that, you start training to become a different style of wrestler. But take me through the expectations of what happens after the Olympics, because some people who are in the Olympics, they go on to be on the Wheaties box, or they go on to be an ambassador for other things. What when you have conversations with other Olympians, what are their expectations for themselves or even yourself after it's over? Do they think that they are going to go off and do something different, or the expectations are, all right, I got to go back home and now I got to find, say, a job?
I think it kind of depends on the sport too. Like, I mean, like it depends on the popularity of the sport.
Mm,
And I'm just gonna assume it's the country as well, because like prime example, like in Guam, like we didn't have any, like if we had an equestrian Olympian, like horses aren't a huge thing in Guam, so it's like that would have been nothing over there.
Right.
Where so as for like wrestlers, I mean, like from my experience and conversations, it's not really a lucrative thing. Well, in 2000, I can't speak for today's Olympians, but like
Right.
back in, oh my god, like back in my days, and like in 2000,
No, no.
like in 2004 era, I mean, it wasn't really like once you were done with. I mean, if you didn't medal in the Olympics, you're not really going to make a lot of money. So you kind of got to go to different avenues, whether that be coaching or whatnot. And then now, I mean, now too, like especially like you see a lot, like for example, like the guy that beat me in 2004, Yo Romero, amazing wrestler. I believe he was an Olympic silver medalist as well in a prior Olympics. Then he like his transition. I mean, his job was just to wrestle
Mhm.
for Cuba. So and then after that, like you're trying to make more money or have a living, and he ends up going into the UFC and making great money off of that. And then I think he's in. I don't know if he's in Bellator now or one FC, but like like a lot, like especially for the combat sports, I think the natural progression now would be towards something like either professional wrestling, like with Stevenson, who was
Yeah,
with us,
Gable Stevenson. Yeah.
who was with WWE for a while. Like a lot of the guys like Chad Gable, for example. Like he was a two-time Olympian, and then what are you going to do next? Right? You're going to like for a combat sport like amateur wrestling, either you're going to go to maybe pro wrestling or I guess MMA, or the non-traditional route would be like pro wrestling, like a Kurt Angle, if you will.
Right. Yeah. For wrestlers, at least in my book, probably Kurt Angle is the most famous one to
Definitely.
come out of it because of the stories that we've been told for years as wrestling fans, winning an Olympic gold medals with a broken freaking neck. So that story right there, that's like a tagline for a movie. I'm sorry, he won a gold medal and he had a broken neck. Whoa, I'm gonna see this movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was always curious because you only hear so many stories about Olympians when they're done. Michael Phelps, the swimmer, and only certain people come out of the Olympics. I guess a bigger star than they were going in, and it's very rare. It feels like for Olympians to do that. But obviously with you committing yourself to so much wrestling, and then after that you've gone around the world. Where is the strangest place though you've ever wrestled professionally?
Um, as far as an arena or like a
And like, I'll give you an example. Jake the Snake once told me he wrestled in a cockfighting ring. You?
oh, okay. Well, I wrestled in a Mexican restaurant, a small Mexican restaurant. I've wrestled in a outlet mall parking lot.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. I've wrestled on a baseball field.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, those are the
Those
like
seem.
the, that come top of mind. Yeah, those are the three that are just at the top of my head.
I've seen many wrestling rings on a baseball field. So where I think you've passed the you're not fighting in a U-Haul in Japan in December, like Bobby Fish
Uh,
told me once.
I mean, unfortunately, like, I mean, I've seen like guys like Suzuki
Unfortunately.
wrestle really cool spots, like on a Shinkansen. I'm like, dude, I want to wrestle on a Shinkansen. Like,
And
I,
what's that?
uh, Suzuki wrestled on a bullet train over here in
Oh my
Japan.
god.
Yeah,
The
and
video that went viral a few years ago?
yeah, I think it was like maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it
Like,
was I saw a pile driver on a train.
yeah, like yeah, like I mean, not as cool as that, or like I can't remember who wrestled. I think it was a New Japan show. Actually, they wrestled on a remote island. I figure like I want to say like in the 70s or 80s or hell like North Korea for all
Yeah,
so like
WCW pulled that off.
yeah
And
I don't know if I heard stories from Scott Norton about that trip, so
yes,
but
you can
I
watch Dark Side of the Ring to hear all Scott Norton's awful experience.
yeah, I don't want to repeat that just in case. I don't know if they're listening.
Smart, very smart, very smart. Speaking of other strange things, Lucha Underground to a lot of people was a fun show, but for the people who worked there, the experience was completely different. I've heard many stories from people, good stories, bad stories. What was your experience?
I had a good time. I thought it was a good experience. I think it could have worked if, but it's just one of those things where I think the wrestling world meeting the entertainment world and big corporations, where big
Mm,
corporations will have the final say or oversay or just cut the legs from the wrestling aspect of it. Like I think it's like it, I mean, I can't speak for other companies, but like for Lucha Underground specifically, like I think it was like an oil and water mixture, where like the entertainment and business side didn't understand the wrestling aspect, and they kind of just because like I mean, it was a really good buzz for a while.
yeah.
Like I heard when it started coming out, people were like, "What the heck is this?" And then by the second season, it started gaining more steam, and then Rey Mysterio came aboard, and then it just exploded. And then the fourth season kind of, I feel like maybe got dropped off, tapered off a little bit, and then I didn't feel like the fourth season had the same magic as the previous three. And I don't know if it was because it was like we had such a long break because we didn't know if we are coming back or not. And man, but I mean, I was happy it came back because we got to see other people that we worked with for like 3 seasons, and it was fun, man. Like I truly enjoyed my time there. I just wish like that business side of it didn't like try to bigwig their way into the rest. Like I wish they would have just said, "Hey, listen, here's the money, do your thing," and then the ratings were good, the reception was
Yeah.
good. So like I think it should have been like, okay, well, here's your money, do your thing. We'll step out of the situation. You guys run it, and then just grow it from there. And they did that for a little bit, and then all of a sudden they started. I think they started coming more in, and it was just like an uphill battle to begin with, I believe. But I mean, I could be wrong. I wasn't in the production meetings or anything like that. But that was just from my observations of being there.
Because I love the show. What an amazing concept that was. But I never really heard about the money finance people being the problem. I heard it was more like you sign a contract, you didn't know what your contract really was going to do to you, so you were locked into seasons, so you couldn't go anywhere else that had a television deal. So a lot of wrestlers couldn't wrestle for TNA because they had
Mhm.
a television deal, and some people were paid differently than others. I've heard different stories from different people, but I didn't know what your situation was because I've heard amazing stories of like, here's all this money, here's this food, here's this. And once the season was over, it was like, boom, you were kind of locked in this contract, but you couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, no, I mean that's another aspect of it too. Like I mean, like for like again, I can't speak for everybody's contracts,
Yeah.
but for my contract, it said no TV. And I was like, all right, cool, that's fine because you guys were paying me. But then I didn't expect like I think my memory is not that great with that, but like between season one taping or when season one ended to season two, I want to say it was like maybe there was a long break in between, or no, it was a short break actually, maybe like 6 months before we started
It's
filming.
still a long time though.
But then we didn't get paid for the 6 months because
Right. So you're locked in, but you can't go on TV
right,
anywhere.
right. But then like between like season two, season three, I think that was the one where it was like a year and a half where there was like no tape, or maybe it was season three, season four was when there was like a long break because I think that's when I started like hey, how come like we're starting to get offers but we can't entertain these things because we're waiting for this, are we going to come back or not? Like, but then like I remember certain people were showing up on like TNA, and I was like, okay, well, how come they're like, I would mess somebody from like the office or whatever. I'm like, hey, how come those guys are showing up on TNA, but I can't. I've had talks with TNA, like, how come I can't go there? Like, oh well, it's a weird thing. I'm like, no, it's not because like we're in our contracts it states no TV.
Yeah.
So like, okay, well, you gotta get written approval. I was like, okay, well, they want me. Can I go get written approval for you? Like, oh, well, it's a different situation. I'm like, all right, I get it. It was whatever. So like I think that's when all the frustration starting for a lot of people. And it's like okay, you don't eat. It's like there's like a no compete clause. Okay, that's fine. But are you going to pay us for like the time we can't compete? No. Okay, well then that's like a one sided agreement. So I know a lot of people ended up getting lawyers, and it turned into a real like it didn't get as bad in the public scene as it could have been, but in because in the court of public opinion, they're going to side with the people on the downside of it. But I mean, I think in the end, like they ended up getting season four running, and then that was it. Season four, we're done. Then you guys are all free from your contracts, kind of thing. So I think that helped made a lot of people happy in that situation.
Yeah, well, a year and a half between seasons is a long time when you have offers from other people to give you money and put food on your table, and again, I've heard stories from people from just exactly what you just said about showing up on TNA and they were just like, "F this, I'm going to TNA." And who knows what contracts were written, which ones were broken, because I don't think that you're bringing it up. Like, that's not legal, probably, to have a signed contract from one company and be like, you know what, I don't want to deal with that anymore. I'm going to go over here. Like, well, I don't think you legally legally can, but people did, and what? But you got to compete against Rey Mysterio in Lucha Underground, and again, what was that experience like? Because not everyone gets the chance to wrestle probably the most popular luchador in the entire world currently.
Yeah, it was great, man. He's been doing it. I don't even know when he started, but pretty much his whole life. He probably came out of his mom's womb, and then his dad probably put a luchador mask on him straight away. But you don't know, and he's probably doing flips and stuff already. But yeah, no, like Rey Mysterio is definitely. People will say like Blue Demon or El Santo, but for this generation, it's definitely Rey Mysterio Jr. He's brought so much eyes, especially not just to like luchador style wrestling or whatever, but he's brought so much eyes to Lucha Underground when he was there, and being able to wrestle him and work with him and just listen to his psychology, because he's a little guy, so he's got that great little man mentality of how to you know do matches or whatnot, and like learning from him was amazing. Like he's such a great guy, man. And he used to bring Dominic around too, which is funny. Like he wasn't even I think he wasn't even training at the time, I believe, in like 16, 17. So it was pretty funny to see Dominic then to where he is now. It was pretty cool. And he may not like his dad now, but he's in his mind, he's still got to respect him a little bit for what he's done.
Of course. So was Dom a little little shit then too than he is like he
Nah,
is now?
he was a respectful little guy. He was a respectful little guy. I liked him a lot, man. I mean, not a lot, but like we hung out a few times at the sets and whatnot. And he was a real cool dude, man. Real cool guy. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, he lost his way. Maybe someday he'll find his way back to his daddy. But we got Rhea Ripley chasing after you. What do? What?
I mean, shoot, you go with Rhea Ripley.
Of course, you punch your dad in the face on Christmas morning. I don't care what has to happen.
Yeah,
You go with Rhea
you got
Ripley.
whatever you got to do to impress the girl.
That's right, and he clearly did. And then now he's impressing another girl, Liv Morgan. This man is not having a problem. He just has a dad issue right now. So.
Yeah.
Before we wrap this up, though, Prince Puma in Lucha Underground, Ricochet, this guy right now, it seems like he's going to become a free agent. And I know people are asking, hey, where's he going to end up? Is it going to be AEW, New Japan, MLW, TNA? What was your experience with him as well? Because he is someone that for the past couple of years, everyone feels like he's about to like break through that glass ceiling with fighting Logan Paul, say last year. And then he just goes right back down to what he was doing, be a high flyer and lose to bigger men. Like how do you feel about Ricochet and what was your experience like with him?
Ricochet is one of the, I would say, top top three flyers of all time. I think he's amazing. And he's like everybody looks at him and says, "Oh, he's just a flyer guy. He's whatever." But he's one of the strongest guys I've wrestled. I mean, he deadlift suplexed me
Wow.
multiple times, and like I'm not exactly a high junior guy. I'm a little bit on the heavier side. So for him to be able to do that and catch me in midair a few times, and like he's criminally underrated, strong in the strong category. As a wrestler, I think he's one of the best. And for him, like he, everybody's like, "Oh, where's he going? Who's he going? Like, you should go." Especially the court of public opinion when they say, "Oh, you should go here. You should go here." Like, who cares? Like, at the end of the day, the main thing is like if Ricochet's happy, he's happy. That's all that matters. Because from a monetary standpoint, I'm sure he's fine because he was on the main roster for a few years. Um, you know, and if he wants to go somewhere else, like let him go somewhere else. Who cares? Like at the end of the day, like I said, the fans aren't going to be the ones giving him his paycheck. The fans aren't going to be the ones that are going to make him happy. He's going to make himself happy, and the only way you can make yourself happy is like do what you want to do. So, if he stays at WWE, great. I'll still support him. If he comes to New Japan, I'll still support him because I can throw him around a lot farther than a lot of the other guys. Um, but if he goes to AEW, that's good for him too. I'm support him wherever he goes.
Nice. And one final question though, with New Japan growing every single day, how do you think they can start growing further in the American market? Obviously, they have with many shows recently in the past few years with pay-per-views, but do you feel like there's a there's like a moment or like a campaign of some sorts to make New Japan, I guess, bigger on a platform and our faces more for a media standpoint in America?
I just think, well, now there's just so much wrestling. There's like so much AEW, so much WWE. TNA is doing some good stuff now. MLW is doing some good stuff. And then there's like then you also have CMLL bleeding over into AEW, and then people are like, "Oh, what's this?" And they watch CMLL or AAA or whatever. There's so much wrestling to consume out there. So I mean, we probably have to be a little bit different. And I'm not a marketing guy, so I don't really know how to tackle that from a different standpoint. I mean, if I'd had time to think about it, I could probably think of something, but like you put me on the spot, I'm like, oh, well, there it is. But yeah, like we tried with I think the pandemic definitely derailed us a little bit.
Hmm.
I mean, not just us. Don't get me wrong. Like it derailed a
Everybody.
lot. Yeah. So, but like we before the pandemic, we were slowly branching out. Like we had 2019, we had the first day of the G1 was contested in Dallas. So like those kind of things, like we're slowly bringing, like for example, like the G1, like I said, the biggest tournament in the world, the best tournament in the world, but you could only see it in Japan. Whereas what 2019, we were starting to get a bigger buzz, and well, prior to that, but then 2019 it culminated where, hey, we're going to do the first G1 is going to be in America. The first day of the G1 will be in
Yeah.
America. So like stuff like that, I think we're on the right path. And then the pandemic hit, and then now like we're slowly kind of trying to build our way back over as well. And then like, and now they're also targeting a little bit of Asia as well. Like they did, it was like, I think they did Taiwan a few months ago in April. So
Mhm.
I think it's just going to be a slow build again, a slow build back up. We just have to, and then also too, like it doesn't help that like a lot of our top guys that were here in New Japan left and went over to other companies. So we have to start building. We're building back up again, I think, and like just don't put all your eggs in one basket kind of mentality, I think, is good. So like you slowly build up here, slowly build up here, and then the quality of the product's gonna speak for itself. So
Well, yeah, and for a while, for at least me, Access Television was playing the best of New Japan events after at like 10 o'clock when Ring of Honor was on there as well, and then that would dropped, and then for a while, New Japan wasn't on Access Television, at least in America. So that's how at least I know people who are watching New Japan who didn't have the app or the website or going on those, they were able to watch the best of New Japan on Access TV in the past 6 months that came back. So I think that's at least put a lot of more eyeballs on the product. Who people who weren't familiar with it now are getting a more opportunity to watch it. But I look forward to your open challenge at AEW Forbidden Door. Hopefully, uh, someone calls you and gets the ball rolling because TV champ just makes sense. Just
definitely,
makes sense.
don't be scared, guys. It's okay. You can use the internet for your advantage. Just call me out, and then ask. It's better to ask for forgiveness and for permission. So if you want to take a shot, call me out on the Twitter world, and then you can go talk to your daddy and say, hey, was that okay? I'm sorry about that. Do you mind if I fight Jeff? And do you mind if I lose to Jeff because Jeff's gonna beat me up? It's cool.
That's cool. That's cool with me. Well, Jeff Cobb, I hope you enjoy beating up everyone in AEW, and hopefully someone on Twitter gets the balls to say something to you. And because people on AEW, some of them, everyone likes to use Twitter to call people out, and so let's see if they do it to you. I don't know if they will, but again, thank you so much for being here, Jeff Cobb. I'm Steve Fall. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.